Awsten Knight, everybody. Isn't it so good? We were just talking about this. I don't know how many people we can see. We got some friends in the house on the frame here.
Oh, yeah, we gotta turn and show.
Oh yeah, we gotta show them outside too, because this is mental. I mean, trying to do an interview is one thing, but then with like all of our friends outside, it's really crazy. But I was gonna say, it feels so good to see these smiling faces, but also just to get a round of applause.
Oh yeah.
Zoom, we lost the round of applause.
Oh, it's awful. Or like it cuts out, so it sounds like, and then it's like frozen.
And then interrupting each other was always brutal.
Oh yeah, you're like, no, you go.
You can't
It's
really
fine.
have a conversation on there.
No.
It's really tough. So I'm
No.
glad we're doing this. I know we talked on Twitch and
Yeah.
just about everywhere else. But whenever I talk to you, like I met you at MTV on TRL, and it's always like, you know, business points and talking points and whatever. I've never really gotten like the water park's origin story.
Talk to me.
And so you're from Texas, of course. It's well documented.
Yeah.
And all the Parksies right now are like rolling their eyes because like we know all this. But for new fans of water parks, how do you sort of formulate the idea of water parks? How do you get into it?
Oh man. Well, I mean, we started in like 2012.
Was this your first band?
No, I've been in band since I was like 13.
What's your first band?
Oh man, nothing you can Google. That's the thing. I was in so many.
Which is a good thing.
It's a great thing, yeah. But like, I'm thankful that most of it's not like out there,
Right.
Because most of it's just like trash. I wouldn't want to
So
be like,
bad.
check it.
How are you making music back then? Like on Pro Tools, or like are you on like
Oh my God, Pro
GarageBand,
Tools?
or
Are you
I don't
kidding
know. I
me?
mean, what are you using back then?
No, back then, actually, we used to go to this guy named Jonathan, and he fucking like hated me, right? Or he hated like every.
Was he a
band.
producer?
Yeah. He was just like a very serious dude, and we'd come in like, you know, we're like 14, you know what I mean? Just making like whatever, but he was just not having it ever. Like we'd like I'd go up and be like, I'd like hug him from behind, like, you doing good? And he'd be like, get off.
And
like,
the
that
vibe
kind of
was not
thing.
there?
No.
So what
no,
makes
no.
you want to make music? I mean, we've talked about like our love of like, you know, movie soundtracks and things like that,
Yeah.
and maybe like music and film, but what makes you like, were you just always like the music kid? Were you the art kid?
I was definitely always into art. I didn't get into music until... So I heard Sum 41 when I was in like 4th grade on the radio, and I was like, Dad, what's this? Because like until then, I'd only heard like, you know, Van Halen and like the
Yeah, your
Beach Boys
dad's
and
music,
stuff.
your parents' music.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a big
And-
thing though.
Yeah,
like
it
when
is.
you first, like for me, it was Newfound Glory. That was like the first thing I strayed away from. My mom was like a Harry Chapin and like
Yeah.
Carole King, like all that 70s
Yeah.
stuff. And then I saw that video from My Friends Over You.
Yeah.
And I was
was it
MTV2.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like, I was like, oh, this is mine.
I'd be getting dressed in the morning like, hey.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna skateboard too.
Totally, dude.
Like y'all's personality, that's mine too.
Yeah. So it was Sum 41 for you?
Yeah, it was Sum 41, and then quickly like Green Day, Blank, Good Charlotte, and then it evolved into like My Chem, Fall Out Boy, Paramore, all that.
So that was always, you know, question. I don't want to kill their thunder because we
Yeah.
got so many great questions from out here.
Yeah.
But one of the questions was from a guy who's in a band actually out here.
I got handed a CD.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
hey, smart guys.
No, very
One of them
smart.
was doing like the Austin voice. I've talked to
Really?
you so many times now. This is how
Austin
influential you
voice.
are, where he's almost doing like the Austin thing. Like it's
Oh,
it's so
man.
funny. No, but it speaks to how like, you know, now you're inspiring the next wave of bands.
That's awesome.
But they wanted to know, you know, like was it always the idea of mixing pop with rock for you? You know, coming out of those bands you just mentioned.
You know, I think if like there was a part of you, or like, you know, rock culture is very like there's like a superiority complex with it sometimes. And I mean, I guess with all genres, depending on where you're at.
But I think it's specific in rock, right?
Yeah, it really is. Like, and
A lot
I
of
think that
rules.
made me kind of like shy away from like pop music for a while. But then when I got to be like, you know, 17, 18, I was like, dude, Kesha's like really good. Or like, you know what I mean? I did
Yeah.
all that, and it just like kept evolving from there. And it's kind of like, I don't know, stuff with this band has always been very pop center, or it's like pop songs, but since we're like a band, it's gonna come out like it's in a band package no matter what we do. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Well, you talked about like before Kesha and before you had
Yeah.
your pop awakening. I'm now calling it and deeming it.
Hey, pop awakening.
Were you trying to be like a hardo? Were you like super rock guy? Like I don't listen to that crap.
Also, when I started doing bands and stuff, like it was always like kind of lighter, and then I was in like, I remember afterwards there was a phase of like 2 years where I just got tired of getting made fun of, like by like, you know, local bands or whatever, and started trying to do like more like either like proggy or like a little bit harder stuff, you know what I mean? Like
Interesting.
more yelly things. And I was just like, that is so stupid. Like, why do I care what this fucking idiot thinks? And you know what I mean?
Well, was it
And-
because Houston, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so is that like was there a Houston scene?
Yeah, it was all like hardcore and metal, and
Really?
then obviously like hip hop and rap and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
they like their hard rock down there, dude. Like even their alternative radio stations, like Lean, really like they'll
See,
play
but
some
the local
hard
bands
stuff.
aren't like that,
Really?
or at least when I came, like I'd be at local venues like every weekend, and or trying to like pass out flyers because we're like, we get to play at this venue. Oh my god, like, and they would always just be like 150 cap or whatever, but it was always like, we need to try and get people there. So you'd be giving it to classmates that don't want it. You'd be giving it to like, anyone,
Yeah, of course.
Anyone will take it, like malls and stuff.
So you got to come up because I think of this, especially in like with bands specifically that play live instruments. Scenes have all but sort of died. I mean, they're still around, and I don't mean to like discourage anyone who's a part of a local scene, but they're not quite what they once were because it used to be like the only way to acquire new fans.
Yeah, was to go outside and.
But you kind of caught like that last glimpse. It feels like in those early years
the thing
of like.
Is, I still think it's better. Like that dude out there who gave me a CD. Like I would still recommend that, like, after our LA show, you should be there with, like, as many CDs as you can afford to burn.
Especially if you make music that's sort of, like, in that Waterparks universe.
That's that's 100% it, because, I mean, we still have people that come to the Houston shows that I recognize because, I met them outside of House of Blues so many times, or, like, the Revenge and Music Center or Warehouse or whatever. And, I mean, I think that, like, if we had time, I would do that in every city. Like ever, you know what I mean? Like, because we would always just do it around Texas. Like we'd fall if there was something where it was like Paramore, or Panic, or All Time Low, or whatever. Like we would hit like Austin, Dallas, San Antonio, Houston if we could.
Right.
That definitely. I don't think anything replaces like a face-to-face kind of thing.
I so agree, and I think about this. I was just having a conversation on the radio show. I think about dating apps and how like it's the same like thing with that, where it's like meeting someone on a phone. It's all well and good, and it's awesome. You find love there, more power to you.
Hey.
But it's not the same thing as like a happenstance, like you meet at a bar or whatever.
Right.
You're gonna remember
or like you
that
bump into each other outside of Whole Foods, and she goes, "My cactus," and you're like, "I love you."
Exactly that.
Right.
But it is different. Like that visceral experience is like fleeting, and I think it's never been a noisier world, and this is like long been talked about, but like how do you cut through the noise? You guys certainly have. I mean, look, you're getting people to drive from Northern California to literally not even hear what we're talking about. but and I think that's how you do it. You do that through like human touch, and you do that through like the in-person stuff. So what's interesting though is like you're someone who is so taken to social media. And like I think we'll get into how you connected with these people and why you think you connected with these people, but how did the social media of Waterparks come about in terms of, because you obviously started in a very visceral way. You started doing shows.
Yeah.
You weren't like, Lil Nas X who like kind of broke on the internet.
Shout out him though. He's
of
so
course.
good.
No. Dude.
No.
Genius.
Yeah.
Like genius. Should run a marketing company on,
100%.
like Madison Avenue. I mean, really.
Absolutely.
But how did you transition? Because, and the reason I ask is because a lot of bands that started the way you did can't or couldn't.
Right.
They don't speak that language. They speak a different language.
I think I just grew up with like the internet too much.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm definitely a product of the internet. I stopped doing sports in like, I guess, the end of junior high.
Okay.
And that's when I tried bleaching my hair and it almost fell out.
How'd that go over?
Bad. I messed it up. I wanted to look like Mike Dirnt from Green Day really bad. You know when he had like the blonde American Idiot thing going, like the platinum.
Yeah.
And I tried doing that, did not work, and my mom took me to Visible Changes afterwards, and
you went
we
right
fixed
back.
it. Yeah. No, see, I tried doing it in the bathroom at my house.
Okay.
And then she
Like
took me.
Stan
And then she
style.
took me to the mall.
I'm picturing like
fix
Devin
it.
Sawa in the Stan video, just pouring the peroxide over his head.
Yeah.
So why do you think you've connected with so many people? And I know it might be a corny question to ask, but it's like, for someone like me, whose my job is to talk to artists and a lot of fandoms too, and a lot of fandoms in like really like crazy hyper, like pop arenas, and a lot of people would kill for this sort of following. Why do you think if you had to say, why do you think it is?
I think it's because, I feel like it's a few things, but I think one thing, okay, as many like influences and like good things where I'm like, hey, that's smart, that's cool that they did that. There's also like, ooh, let's make sure we don't do that, like an anti-influence. You know what I mean?
Like, you don't have to name names, but what's like an anti-influence?
An anti-influence is like, because I used to follow bands on Twitter.
Okay.
Mistake. Don't do that. They're usually terrible, and because they just talk,
because they try to tell jokes.
No. They just talk like you're a fucking consumer, and I feel like you just talk to people like they're people,
right?
And I feel like that's just people gravitate towards that rather than like a shitty like stock message.
Right.
of like album out this like
Right.
3 links. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
what's like not to do? Let's try to like build a little bit because you guys
Okay.
have, you know, like again, we have bands out here literally on the streets
Yeah.
of LA trying to, you know, they've been so influenced by you. They came down here today to even pitch their own band. So for those bands trying to, you know, become the next Waterparks, like what are the do's and the don'ts on social, you think?
do's and don'ts.
No stock messages.
No stock messages. Man, that's actually really hard. Trying to like kind of like dissect.
Yeah.
what
And
it
just
is.
keeping it real, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's really it. And like, I mean, don't be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Which seems like hard for bands to do sometimes.
Yeah. Because it's remarkably not hard.
Yeah, no, it's very.
You know what I
easy to
mean? When you
just
see these
be
stories
cool.
come out, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's like,
Yeah.
it's unbelievable.
So I mean, yeah, just don't be an asshole and like make cool shit and keep doing it. I feel like that's another thing. I think some people stop, like before things. Like 'cause there were local bands I used to love back in Houston, and I remember kind of hitting a point in like 2017 where I was like, "Whoa, I don't even think any of them were doing rooms like this." And it was like, "What the hell?" But like, I feel like if they would have just continued, eventually it would like line up and they'd get the timing right and all
Right.
that.
How do you do with patience? Because you strike me as a really patient band. I don't know if that comes from you or the other guys, but you know, like you know, we just live in such a, and it's because of the speed of the internet. You know what I mean? And it's not a
Yeah.
bad thing, but it's like things happen really, really fast. We talked about Lil
Right.
Nas X, like that guy's life changed overnight, and especially you know nowadays, especially in alternative music, you guys, we've talked about this on Twitch at length of like. There's like a water park sound, and then there's like the pop punk revival.
Right.
And they're very different things, in
Yeah.
my opinion. You guys aren't really a part of that. You love it. You're down with it. That's
Yeah.
awesome. But how do you deal with like that pressure of like, you know, taking your time, building fans almost the old-fashioned way?
Yeah, I mean, as long as like okay, like I said, I've been doing bands for like more than half my life at this point. And you kind of see after a while like what works and what doesn't. You see things come up and it's like they're really popping off for a couple of years and then it's just like boom.
Right.
And I don't know, I think when you're just focused on longevity and you're not like, quick, how do we do this like right now immediately? Like, how do we do like this quick viral thing? Because none of that shit ages well.
Right.
I think it just comes down to knowing what you want and like actually having kind of a vision for what you're doing.
So you have no
Not to be like
desire
not to be like pretentious about it.
No, but like I think it's also like your intentions, right? So
Yeah.
like you have no intention of like or interest in being famous for the sake of being famous.
See, not for the sake of it, but I do like the idea of being able to have as many people hear what we're doing as possible.
Which is
Because
very different.
It would be disingenuous to be like, nah, it doesn't matter if like anyone knows who we are. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, fuck no. Like if I
Yeah.
put every day into something and all my time into it because I love it,
Right.
I want it to do well as it can.
But don't you think that's a very important differentiation of wanting to be famous versus wanting as many people as possible to, you know, hear your work?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's kind of funny is I think it's a cool thing that people have started to kind of be able to figure out what's genuine and what's not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I think
what's-
Gen Z's
what's like a
better at
contrived-
that than anybody.
They are, and it's because they straight up just grew up with it. They can tell like
Yeah.
what's like a genuine thing, or like, hey, this person has put in the work. You can see the evidence versus like, oh, this person's like. I mean, I don't want to shit on anybody.
No,
but
but
you know.
totally. I know what you're talking about. And I think Gen Z's really fast. Like TikTok, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't
They're
think
like, that's an industry plant. I'm like, it is. Good job.
Well, I
Or
know,
like,
and they can
there's,
call it
there's
out.
There's a few they haven't caught on to yet, and I'm just like, man. Or actually, they've started to, and I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Y'all are smart.
Dude, and like you think back to like stuff that like just fooled us, you know what I mean? Like of like you're just working at MTV and some of those countdowns back in the day. It's like, who was voting for that? No one was voting
I
for
don't
that.
know. Like,
You know
how
what
would
I
you
mean?
even vote back
Well,
then?
exactly.
Like, how do they
right? Like,
count
how are
that
they going to
shit?
count all those
That
votes?
was
But as a
so
kid, we
fake.
just like, as our generation, like we just blindly trusted this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's been
We're
cool.
like, yeah, they're voting. That's good.
Yeah. But like I think what's really fascinating about culture right now in both music and I think like broader is like the authenticity that Gen Z is championing. And I don't think a lot of people are talking about it. Like you look at like Olivia Rodrigo, right? Like absolute phenomenon right now.
I heard Deja Vu the other day, and
For the first time.
yeah, here's
Where the
thing.
hell have you been?
I've been listening to Greatest Hits. Can I cuss?
Yeah, you can cuss. This is a podcast.
Oh, okay,
Don't you
cool.
dare cuss on the radio.
I've been listening to Greatest Hits, motherfucker.
And
You
no,
really heard Deja Vu for the first time the other day.
yeah. And I
Is that
think
the only
I
song of hers
maybe-
you've heard? You've
no,
heard Driver's
no,
License.
Of course, Driver's License.
Okay.
Both of those songs, though, they're so good. They both gave me that hot feeling.
Okay.
You know,
Wait,
like
talk
by
about
your
the hot
nose and
feeling. I don't know if I
eyes.
know that.
No, that's like when a song is like really hitting and you're like, I'm not crying, but I could.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's like the magic of her.
you know, like pre-cry?
Yes.
Yeah, where like you can tell like your nose is hot and your eyes are there and you're like,
Right.
I'm on the cusp.
So Olivia Rodrigo, pre-cry music.
Yeah.
Okay. No, she is like, it really is like a time machine of sorts where it
Yeah.
really transports you back to like 16, 17 years old, which is hard to do as you get older. You know, it's not a detriment to the artist. Like, do you find, you know, because you make youthful music, but as you go through experiences, do you ever find it hard to sort of tap back into that?
I think there's always going to be like a semi-challenge to tap into that inner child while you're making music.
Right.
Which is, it's an important aspect because, you know, when we're first like working on Greatest Hits, I noticed a lot of the songs were like a little more bleak. And I was like, or not bleak, but like I knew there needed to be like more sun with it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And so, but that's the cool thing about like talking with music people about your songs. Like I've got a couple friends who can like help really like pull that back out. Not like, hey, write this for me, because I could never, like, even if someone wrote like the perfect song and was like, here you go, I'd be like,
Right.
it would just feel weird.
Well, don't you
But
feel like music
if they could help me
overall-
like access that and then help me write those things, and then songs like See You in the Future Happen, or like Paranoid, or like Fruit Roll-Ups, where I was like, you know, where it's like a little more like, I don't know, I guess like playful or something.
Balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather
Well,
versus songs like Snow Globe or like Ice Bath, where it's just like dark and like hard, you know?
But isn't that, I'm always fascinated by like the sort of dichotomy between the artist experience and like the fan experience, the consumer experience. And it's like these guys out here that are, you know, flooding the streets, like they probably love when you're vulnerable and they probably love when you're being, you know, honest like that. But it is somewhat self-conscious, right? Like, dude, am I being a bummer? Am I going to bring the room down with this record?
Yo, okay. That, so we put out You Be Paranoid Too, If Everyone Is Out to Get You, and they really got upset by the second verse, the lyrics in it.
Who, these guys are like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Not like upset like in a fuck you kind of way, but they were like, oh my God, like, is he okay? And then I wanted the next single to be Just Kidding, and I was like, I don't know if that's gonna work out so well. But I mean, of course, we just went for it. It was like, fuck it, put it out. But because, you know, the lyrics are like, at least on Just Kidding, are like probably the most blatantly like dark or like low point on the album. Like there is stuff that's darker for sure, but it's not as like obvious, I guess,
Right.
on first listen.
Do you feel that, I was just getting back to the Olivia point, like,
Yeah.
you know, whenever something like that happens, right, where like somebody in like their fourth week are selling 200,000 records, I mean, it's ridiculous,
That's
right?
insane.
It's a phenomenon, but I think it speaks to this like turning of authenticity and this sort of like rejection of cookie cutter, you know, like just forced down your throat, industry plan, if you will,
Right.
sort of like culture that maybe like the algorithm, we're getting real granular now, but
Yeah.
like sort of the algorithm has like sort of like manifested.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you feel that at all? I mean, do you think as an artist, not that you have to, do you think like in terms of like that macro in music?
I mean, to an extent, but I try not to.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't change what's going on around you.
Right.
When we're working on stuff, I just go like tunnel vision.
Yeah, of course.
You know, or like when like writing is happening, I'm just like I just need to be able to like get it out, get it done. I can't talk or
Right.
anything. And I think that's another key to longevity is not, I mean, it's very important to be like aware of what's going on. You have to be aware, but I think if you let it affect what you're doing too much, then I don't know. It's like if you align yourself with the times, you're going to be like stuck there when it becomes like the past.
Yeah,
as
of
more
course.
days go on,
And you're part of a trend.
and you
as opposed
subscribe
to
to what was working like a year ago. What's going to happen in like 4 years?
Do you ever think about that, like water parks in like 4 or 5 years? How long do you want to do water parks?
I don't know. As long as we're supposed to.
Okay.
I never want to be like, I don't have any ideas, but we have to put an album out, like, so we can tour. You know what I mean? I don't want to, like, anything that comes out has to beat whatever came before it.
Right.
And, like, it has to genuinely be better to me. And so far, so good, I think.
To you or like the guys? Is it like a, you know, by committee?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's, like, definitely a group thing, but like, I mean, since I, like, start writing the songs, like, at least get them to where we can, you know, be like, hey, should any, like, are these, like, what should we do with these drums here or whatever? Like,
Right.
like I still demo it out myself.
Right.
So
Would you almost consider yourself like a band leader? Like we had Adam Duritz from the Ken and Crows on, and he was like a lot of the success. Like at first it caused a lot of like tension in the group, but so much of their success was because it was like a singular vision, and he was able to lead that band. And
everyone is like that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, and even if it's not like part of their like public story or whatever, there's always like one or two people kind of, I guess, leading the songwriting aspect of it.
right.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, I don't know if you've ever been in a session before or not, but when there's like 6 people trying to write on the same thing at once, it works for some people, I think, or like works for like professional songwriters, which is cool. Like
Sounds like hell.
it's awful. Like I remember when we first came out to LA, and we were trying out different producers and stuff. We went into one room and they handed all of us guitars, and then the multiple people in there also had guitars. Everybody was playing different stuff in different keys, different tempos. I literally had to put it down. I was like, I'll be right back. I just went in the restroom and I was just like,
Get me out of here.
I was like, you know what? Just get through it. Like, we don't even have to use the song. It's fine. Whoo! Then you go back in there. It's just like sensory overload.
Yeah, and
There's
these are
too many
people you
cooks.
didn't know necessarily. I mean, sometimes you're put together with people. It's like a blind date.
Oh, yeah.
Then you got to pour your heart out.
No, it's weird. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think actually even for that song specifically, I didn't even write the lyrics there. It was like that night after we left, I was like, okay, now I'm gonna go work on this.
Right.
Like headphones, got the instrumental, figuring it out.
Let's get to some of these fan questions.
Let's do it.
So we'll edit this all nice for the eventual podcast, but these are some good ones. It gets loud at times.
It gets loud.
Yeah, dude.
Wait,
these
is it their
people.
voices?
Yeah. So I thought this was
Oh.
rad. I was like, dude, I've never heard this on a podcast. Like, why not? Like, I'm not gonna read off tweets. They're right out there. It was the next best thing.
Yeah.
So we're gonna play this off voice memos, and
Okay.
then we'll just go through them.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Julia, and I just had a question about the music videos. So I know that there's a whole concept behind the album being at night and through dreams, and I was wondering if the music videos were variations of the same dream or interconnected as dreams throughout the night. And that's all.
That's a great question.
That is a great question. I'm kind of confused by it though. Maybe because I'm stupid, but so that because it is connected throughout the whole like dream concept of it. You know, I'm just gonna roll with it and go forward like
Go
that.
for it.
Yeah. They are connected. I don't want to fully put all of it out there yet because I want to make a lot of videos. We actually, low-key, we've shot a couple more that aren't out yet. But yeah, they are.
What do you like? Batch shoot them, or like? Do you like shoot them all in a batch, or like? You just
actually,
canned?
one of them that's going to come out pretty soon.
What's the
was
next
shot-
video that's coming out?
I don't know yet. There's 2 that it's stuck between.
Can you name them?
Should I? No. Not yet.
Okay.
Just to be safe, because I might feel impulsive one day and be like,
And drop the other.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got to keep it a little open ended, otherwise it's not fun. But anyway, yeah, everything is connected, and we bought a red camera just so we could like shoot more. You know what I mean?
So what's like the biggest difference between like a red camera, like for someone that doesn't know cameras and filmmaking?
Oh, I'm not a nerd, so I don't know, but
But it looks cool.
Yeah, but they were like, yeah, you shoot Netflix, like they shoot all the Netflix stuff on those. I
Yeah.
was like, if it's good enough for Netflix, it is good enough for us. And so we had rented a camera from this one guy for what video was it? It was the Just Kidding video, and it was like a real last minute thing. But I don't remember how it came up. I think because he was like a mutual friend, and I think our mutual like was like, oh, I think he's trying to sell it. So we were talking to him, and we just like wound up buying it all from him. We're just like, I love how that video looks. I'd be cool if all of them look like that. That camera is ours now.
So have we saw the Just Kidding video with the red. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the next one.
Hi, my name is Sienna, and I was wondering what lyric on Greatest Hits are you most proud of and why?
That's really hard. I can't do one lyric. I can't even pick a song.
What just came to mind? What lyric just came to mind when you asked that?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Here's the thing. When we started touring in 2016, we only had our EPs out at that point, right? We didn't have an album.
Okay.
And you know, I mean, it's not to say. I think I just wasn't aware of how lines would look standing on their own sometimes. But a surprising amount of people were asking me to write out tattoos for them of certain lines. And there were certain ones where I was like, are you sure? And so now it's like, I started giving myself that like standard of, if you'd feel weird writing it for a tattoo, don't use
Don't
like
put it in the
not
song.
in a way of like, oh, that's silly, but in a way of like, that's not the best that line can be.
So did you have hesitation early on because of like you were uncomfortable with that responsibility?
It was kind of scary. Actually, someone showed up on to the first tour. We were opening. We were one of 4. And they showed up with a Waterparks neck tattoo. I will say one more time, Waterparks neck tattoo.
On the front, on the back, on the side?
Back. And I was like, oh, and I was flattered, but I was also like, oh, I was like, I don't know what to do with this information. This is a lot to take in. Holy shit. I was like, are you sure? And I was like, well, I guess it's too late now. And I was just like, oh my God. Okay. Fuck. And so that was like the introduction to it. I think the first Waterparks tattoo I ever saw was a neck one.
Well, I'm curious, like, as you've gotten bigger and your public has grown, your fans have grown, music's more popular, have you become more comfortable with that responsibility of having, particularly young people look up to you, or is it intensified?
I feel like if you're fully comfortable with it, you're a sociopath.
Well, do you do the thing where, like, they're fans of, like, what you make and don't internalize it personally? Because I think that's, like, the healthiest approach, is, like, having gratitude for like, wow, you like what I do, who I am on Twitter, what I do on stage, what I do on the records, but then not letting it like, you internalize it personally.
Right. I think that's a hard balance for most people with things that they're really into.
Is it hard for you?
Yeah.
But how do you then not get like your ego? I mean, if you were to let that, if you were to internalize that, and you look out and you see all these people who drove from like Northern California,
that's crazy.
You'd be like the biggest D-bag in the world if you.
That's
let
true.
It,
Here's the thing.
So you don't.
I think it's a matter of knowing when to turn it on and turn it off.
Right.
Like when you're going on stage, like, and this is what I would do. Like I used to have the most stage fright like ever, especially when I was like in my teens or like when we first were like doing shows, because we didn't get that much practice. It'd be like we get to do a show every like month and a half or whatever. I'm a burp. And like
just pukes in the K-Rock studio. First and last guest, everybody.
I'm so sorry for ruining this for all future artists. But no, like after a while, I was like, come on, get your shit together. Come on. Like, I was like, you're Kanye West. Go. And like, you kind of like figure out how to like have the right kind of ego and when to turn it on and when to turn it off. Because if you don't have any kind of that, like, kind of like protecting you a little bit,
right,
and you take everything in, like it's hard to not like internalize everything you like read, especially if it's like critical.
Are you able to take things in the moment?
No.
And I was talking to Matty Healy from 1975 about this, and I was like, I was asking him like, oh, what was MSG like? And he was like, I don't know, like terrifying in the moment, and all I cared about, because you have a job to do up there, right? So all you're thinking about is doing a great job.
Yeah.
And he was saying like how it was only afterwards that you can appreciate those things.
Yeah, I can't appreciate it until like a while after.
You look back.
Yeah.
It's a bittersweet thing.
Everything's in retrospect. Because I think if I like think about like the gravity of certain things or opportunities or situations or whatever, I'll be like, huh. Like right now it's like, live on the radio, cameras, people, what if I like say some weird shit and like my hands are going into my sleeves because I feel like crazy right now, and like, you know what I mean? Like when we did Reading and Leeds main stage, and it was like thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and it's definitely not all people that know who you are.
Yeah.
You can't think about it, or I can't, because if I.
But those shows are almost easier, don't you think?
In a way, I guess. I mean, it's sort of easier to do festivals like that because everyone's drunk, but so they're like, this sounds good. But I think if I thought about like the amount of people and then went on stage, it'd be like horrifying. What I can do though is just play solitaire until Lucas RTM is like, go. And then I just go. Like, I don't want.
Is that what you do?
Yeah, I don't want to know how much more time. Because if someone's like, how much time? I'm like, fuck off. Like, I don't want to know. I don't want to look.
Right.
Because if I'm like 3 minutes, I'm like, oh, those are the 3 minutes where your hands sweat.
Right.
And so I like to completely just shut everything out and then be like, go, and not think.
Right.
And then afterwards see like the cool pictures and be like, that was a lot of people.
What are they clapping for out here?
You're right. Yes.
Did they get like a speaker or something out there?
Did they?
I don't know. They're plugging the record. That's good.
Wait. Can y'all hear me or no?
No.
All right. That's fine.
All right, let's get to a couple more of these.
Okay.
I'm V, and I'm asking if you could be the main character in any movie, what movie would you choose and why?
I'd be one of the victims in Saw. Just kidding. I would be. Who has like the easiest time in movies? I want to be like.
You want an easy route in a movie? You wouldn't want to be like an action hero?
No,
you wouldn't be.
No.
Really?
Are you kidding me? I don't even like to fly. Like they have to jump off buildings and shit. Like I don't want that at all. I don't even envy like birds. Like it's cold up there and like heights. Just nah.
It would be exhausting being a bird. You ever think about that?
It'd be terrible.
Because
Like,
you gotta just keep moving, man.
You
I
have
guess
to
you
be
can
moving.
land, but like, man.
yeah, but then what? Like, you're just sitting there being a bird.
I was just thinking about this because I get birds in my backyard here in LA, and I was just like
You have
looking
a
at this
backyard
guy.
in LA?
Kinda.
Damn.
No, well, it's not like that.
Flex.
I don't want to say that. I've overspoke. But no, I was like just checking out. I was having my
Yeah.
coffee, like checking out this bird this morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think it was like a hummingbird.
Whoa,
Do you know what a
that's
hummingbird is?
That's a good omen.
I think it's.
That's like,
is it really?
That's like new beginning. Like something's about to start for you. Like a good thing.
really?
Yeah.
You just make that up?
No, not even kidding.
So it's like the opposite of a black cat.
Yeah.
Dude, but I've seen a lot of black cats and nothing bad has ever really happened.
No,
to me.
I had one and she was my baby girl. Her name was Jet. She passed like a year and a half ago or something like that.
Did you get her to like break the curse to prove it?
I mean, I ended up here and I lived with her, so
There you go. That worked out.
Yeah, I think myth busted.
So what you got to give? I think it was V who wants to know the answer.
Oh right. What was the question?
The movie. What movie would you be like
right.
star in?
Okay. You know, maybe one of the guests at the wedding in The Wedding Singer, just so I could watch them, but not be like too
Dude,
involved.
best Adam Sandler movie.
It is.
Really?
That is the best
No,
one.
I agree. Like on the record.
Yeah,
I want you on the
on
record.
the record. Yeah, that is the
Amazing.
best Adam Sandler movie.
Amazing.
Yeah, the worst one that I still enjoy though. Actually, I haven't seen it in a while, but I want to rewatch Jack and Jill so bad, where he's his brother and sister.
Oh my gosh. The Netflix ones are pretty rough too, dude.
Oh,
I'm
I
very
know, I
happy
know.
for him because that's a crazy bag he got.
Right.
But it's like I used to do these Netflix parties. Did you ever do one of these things like early quarantine? You remember we're all like, dude, what do we do?
We did
Right?
it once.
Okay.
We did it once, and we watched Shutter Island.
Okay.
Yeah.
Watch Shutter Island.
Because it's a dope movie. Are you serious?
It's kind of a dark movie, man. Getting back to
Yeah.
like, bumming people out with the album.
I mean, yeah, I guess you're right.
But we watched one of these like Halloween Adam Sandler movies, and I feel terrible.
Halloween Adam Sandler movie. What was
Yeah,
that?
it was like Halloween. No, it's not Halloween Town. That's the old one. I don't know, man. It was brutal though.
I want
And
to
it
see
was so
him be in
bad.
Halloween.
I just bailed in the middle of it, and I never told the kids that were like
Wait,
in there.
Adam
'Cause there's, like, a
Sandler is
chat.
Mike Myers. I mean, not Mike Myers. Fuck me. The Mike. Fucking Halloween. What's his
Mike
name?
Myers.
His name is.
Isn't that Mike Myers? I
No,
mean,
Mike
there's
Myers
there's
is-
Austin Powers, Mike
Mike-
Myers, but then I think that's Michael Myers. We're getting
Is it really?
confirmation.
Oh, I thought I messed that up. So I
Yeah.
said Mike Myers. I was like, no, that's Cat in the Hat. Different guy. They have the same name. I've never made that connection.
Whoa, wait, okay. If you only had to pick one,
Weird.
if you only had to pick one, Jack and Jill or Michael Myers, Cat in the Hat.
Let me ask you this: would you rather see Mike Myers or Adam Sandler star in Jack and Jill, like play the brother and sister?
I would rather see Adam Sandler. Or no, I would rather, to go back to The Wedding Singer, I would rather see Steve Buscemi as Cat in the Hat.
Ooh. Yo,
Yo, right?
that would
Wouldn't that
actually be
tight?
really good. Is there someone in this building we can talk to? It's
But
a
like
nice building.
as the character from The Wedding Singer, like the drunk, like degenerate brother. Dude,
that'd be a good movie. I think we should make a movie.
I'm telling you, we're in the town to do it, man. I love it. So, okay, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you remember when you came on TRL? And
Hang on. I'm gonna see what they're doing. Hang on. What the fuck are y'all doing?
This like,
Hey. Oh, it's a wave. Hang on, I was going live to try and see what they're so I could talk to them. Go live. Do your shit. Pick up your phone. This. Oh yeah. There's people. Yeah. Yo, pick up your phones. I'm trying to talk to them and they're not.
this is a great way to do
Do the
it.
wave thing. Fuck it. Do the wave again. Yeah. Yeah.
I want to know what the clapping is.
I don't know.
But my question is, are they really called Parksies?
I didn't make that up.
I think like some Waterparks fans made that up at MTV.
Really?
And I've always called them Parksies, and I always feel like they're laughing at me, not with me when I say Parksies. So I just wanted to make sure it was not the official name. All right, well, we're gonna make that movie. Let me get to like one or two more fan questions.
I'm Mikey, and I was wondering what your favorite song is on Greatest Hits versus a song that you think deserves more recognition.
Also, just
wait.
1 second, I have to shout out Mikey. Drove here from San Francisco.
Damn.
Yeah.
I think Snow Globe's probably the best song if I had to do that, but I think Crying Over It All is my favorite, and I wish it got more. I think Magnetic is probably the coolest Waterparks instrumental ever. Roll-Ups has some of my favorite vocals. I think Ice Bath is so underrated. Like, I think people look at it kind of the way they look at Zone Out on the last album, where they're like, that's just an interlude. I'm like, it's not. It's actually, like, so hard.
Do you think Waterparks is underrated?
Fuck yeah. Of course I think I'm
No,
live
be
right now.
honest. Be honest.
Oh, here's the thing. It depends on the context. I think in certain situations, yeah. In other ones, I think it's on par. And that's where I want to be. I just want to be rated. I don't want to be overrated or underrated. I just want to be rated.
Does that go back to just being grateful and happy for where you are right now, but then, of course, being an ambitious guy and wanting a little more and
I guess
down the
so.
road?
That's like on the good days, I feel rated.
What are the bad days like?
The bad days are like, oh man.
When was your last bad day?
Last bad day? Like yesterday?
It was a bad day.
I didn't love it.
What got you down?
I mean, Well, here's the thing. I think as an artist, you're always gonna have like those like weird insecure days, or like days where like your brain is like totally turning on you. But at the same time, I also had my flight canceled on me 3 times coming back from Houston. It was my dad's.
Oh, you came back.
Yeah, like last
today.
night.
Oh wow. What you do the Father's Day weekend?
Father's
in
Day
Houston?
and my dad's birthday.
Oh wow.
Both.
Big
So I was
weekend.
like, I gotta go. And it got canceled like 3 times, and so I was already like, and then I was just kind of feeling weird in general, and I was just like, so yeah. I mean, yesterday is one of those days where like, brain wasn't.
Isn't it funny
fully
though?
on my
Like
side.
it's just always one thing. It's always one little thing that bums you out, and then I don't know if your brain works this way, but then it'll be like a ripple effect, and like you're just like self-sabotaging person. You're just like your whole day is ruined.
Yeah, like if something annoying happens with like a show thing, or if I'm trying to record an idea and my stuff doesn't work for like 30 minutes, I'm just like, fuck, never mind, fuck it. Like then things that wouldn't normally set me off kind of like are that extra push.
Totally. Well, what I actually want to ask you?
Yeah, talk to me.
And honestly, this is like we have a love-hate relationship with producer Ian, who does this show. Amy probably knows producer Ian, maybe on some emails.
Fuck Ian. Where's Ian? I don't know.
Yeah, can you actually just talk shit to Ian? He would love that.
Ian, you little fuck mouth. Where are you? I'm the first guest and you're not even here. Clearly don't give a shit about your job. Who's Ian's boss?
Mike
Let's talk
Kaplan.
to the boss.
Yeah.
Mike?
Mike Kaplan.
I think you got to upgrade. Do you want Ian's job?
Yeah.
You want Ian? No? All right, never mind. You didn't want it. We'll get rid of them. They're good. Look at them.
We'll get the D's nuts
Hey!
girl.
Yeah. Which one of y'all wants the job? Nah, they're saying they can't hear me.
But usually we clear whatever the performance or cover the guest is going to do.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Ian, I guess, just never even asked you. So what the hell song are you doing?
Yo, so I was actually thinking about it yesterday and I didn't come up with anything. And then this morning I woke up with Death Cab in my head. So
Really?
I kind of want to do that. Yeah, Plans is like top 10 in my
Really?
albums, I think. That's top 15 to
It's very
be safe.
Pacific Northwest of you for a kid from Houston.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so. I like Death Cab.
Yeah. It's they're just so good, and their lyrics have always like got like actually they're one of the people I think that made me want to write like more vivid or specific lyrics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
a lot of times with like, the emo shit you'd be hearing, it's very like broad, and I always hated that, like vague struggle lyrics.
Yeah.
And
a lot
I
of pop
think-
punk songs I always say, like it's like you get 3 chords, G, C, and D, and they just whine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's the thing, like Death Cab just isn't. It's kind of funny because the song I'm gonna play is 3 chords, but
No, there's nothing against 3
yeah,
chords.
no, but the lyrics are just so good, and he always like painted such like a vivid thing, and I could see what he was singing.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what I gotta do.
Is Death Cab pre-cry music?
Yeah, actually. Yeah, I think.
Give me some other names for pre-cry. We're gonna actually, hopefully,
Songs that,
Spotify
like,
sees
make
this
you
and we can
cry?
playlist it.
I could. Here's the thing. I could go through my phone for sure and give you all the pre-cry ones. Like I said, those Olivia Rodrigo ones for sure. But also, What Sarah Said, the Death Cab one. It's on that album. I've always thought. I've been like, you know what? If I had to like die to a song,
Right.
that would.
Do
be
you think about that? I was on a plane one time. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm an idiot.
No,
okay?
on planes. Okay,
But
go,
but I'm also like a moron. I don't know how anything works. I listen to music like I swear to God, dude. Like I don't know how anything works, right? And but you I don't know if you're like that, but like there's always like in what we do different things, but there's always like handlers and producers that like do things for you as an adult that you should learn.
It's so cool. No, fuck that.
No, I know. Fuck that,
ew.
of course.
You
No,
kidding me?
I'm being
Book a flight?
polite,
Why?
You know. But so I don't know how anything works. So I'm going down to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and it was like the first time I'd been there in a long time. And I see the airport, and I'm imagining like we're gonna fly, like and land, and we don't, or like we take this drastic turn. We start going over the ocean.
Nope.
So I'm like, this guy's taking us down.
You're like,
this
is
guy
it.
is gonna take us down. So I
You're like, I
immediately,
believe in God. I believe in all of them.
dude, literally just apologize for like everything ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I gotta put a song on. What song am I gonna put on?
Ooh,
right?
that was your first thought.
Dude, yeah.
That's
like, I'm
wild.
gonna go out, bro. Like, what's the song I'm gonna play?
No, whenever there's turbulence on a plane.
Yeah.
Do
you have a turbulent song?
Oh, no. But what I do is I open my notes app just in case. And cause I'm like, you know what? Maybe they'll like find like.
What, the phone's gonna survive?
No, maybe. But I can, like, if there's not when it's like going down, I would probably try and text people and be like, maybe I'll get signal before it crashes. But
Right.
If there's like bumpiness and it's kind of like, ooh, I'm not sure about this, I start typing out what I want. Like if there's gonna be like an album after the plane goes down, I'm like, all right, this is the track list. This is what it is. Don't give features to these people. These people are cool. Like, use these demos. If you do edit this like this because I didn't get to it yet.
Dude, I'm surprised. Actually,
I have notes like that.
But to your point, I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but like I'm surprised more artists don't have like posthumous, like whether it's wills or whatever. Because I don't know how you feel about like posthumous releases, but you know, look, and if it's look, it's just like if it's helping the family and it's going to the right people, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I think about artists sometimes where I'm like, man, like that's such like that's not a finished idea, and you're just looping it
The
as a
thing is,
hook.
I think you just have to approach it like you're hearing their voice memos and not
Right.
this is an album.
Right. And just appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah, as long as you can like go into it with the right expectation, I think that's like the best thing you can do.
What's your death song?
Death song. Probably What Sarah Said. Or there's actually a Motion City song where it's like last night things happen in halftime. You know what I'm talking about? Where
Yeah. Oh my God, they all blend
the
together
thing is-
though. It's,
no. Here's the thing. There's the problem is. Oh, I think it's Last Night. But there's also. Okay, yeah.
It is.
Last
That's
Night.
a great one because
Yeah.
that's not really off of like the big record. I don't think.
No.
You know what else is a great Death Cab song?
Those were my two death songs. I've had those since like 2011, I think.
Why the Motion City soundtrack one?
Because it made me cry.
Oh,
That's one. That's
really?
one of the pre-cry songs.
Is that a full cry?
It can be
Okay.
if you let it.
Okay. Hang around long enough.
If you open up your heart.
Yeah. Right. Let it marinate.
And there's no one around you going, "This is a sad song." You're like, "Shut the fuck up, let me feel."
You know what else is a great Death Cab song? Kath. You just
Yeah?
reminded me of that. No
Yeah.
one ever talks about that song though. It's all like walking people into the dark.
A lot of. Hey, but no shade to that song. That is an
No, of
incredible
course.
song. I used to teach guitar lessons back in Houston, and I taught that song.
What? Follow You into the Dark?
Yeah.
That's a pretty simple song, right?
Well, the finger picking is what
Oh,
the
yeah.
people had to work on.
I could never do that. That's where I stopped on guitar. I could never do the finger picking. Good strummer. Decent
I wonder
strummer.
if I remember how to play it. I haven't done it since like 20, maybe 13.
We'll just go live on the radio and watch you just
Yeah, and then
figure it out.
watch me
Yeah.
like,
yeah, exactly. Why didn't the commercials air on time?
you don't need commercials.
Exactly.
You don't
I
need
am the commercial.
Yeah, I'm the commercial. I can talk about a product. You want me to push something?
we really should. We really should. All right. Well, cool. Well, let's get to the business. We'll talk about this on the radio, but of course, Greatest Hits is out. You can stream it everywhere. Physical copies, you got to ask that nowadays. You have vinyl? Well, I just saw it over there.
Yeah. Yo. What is this? Delay? Oh. 20-second delay. Hey, will you hold up your vinyl?
20-second delay of what?
I don't know. Look.
What are
Yeah.
they listening to?
I don't know. Oh, no, I'm live. Right here. I just went live for a second.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So shout out so they can hear that.
I gotcha. Yeah. And where you pick up the vinyl? Because you guys are doing a bunch of in-stores.
Yeah, so you can get it any of those in-stores. We're going to Houston, shout out. Austin, shout out. Orlando. We're going to the Mall of America.
Oh, that's pretty badass.
We're going to Portland, Seattle. Yeah, I love doing in-store stuff because you can like, I don't know, it's easier to just meet everybody and like talk for a second.
How's Jersey like you? You got a lot of fans in Jersey?
Yeah, we did Starlin Ballroom last time we were there.
Okay.
And I think at that point that was our biggest headliner.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You should go to Vintage Vinyl, man. Iconic store out in Jersey. And
Actually,
it's
someone
closing.
tweeted that at us today, like in response to me putting those other ones up.
Totally. I bet a lot of those bands you grew up listening to did in stores. You can like find them on YouTube. Vintage
Yeah.
Vinyl.
Mikey was talking to me about, which one was it? I mean, it must have been like a Jersey one or like at least a Northeast one.
Yeah, so Looney Tunes. But you guys have done Looney Tunes, haven't you?
I think twice.
Yeah,
I
a
think.
bunch.
Yeah.
And then, of course, tour, right?
Yeah.
Have you announced? You announced, I think, cities on Twitch with me.
Yeah. That's right.
Before.
That's right.
We had you literally
like
pull up like the
Nashville, Austin.
PDF.
Yeah.
That was great. They were stoked about that too, the
they
fans.
Were. Hell yeah.
When's that kick off and where can we get tickets?
You can get tickets at, I'm gonna look at the camera.
Yeah. Do it okay, do it like it's like a 90s like late night like sleazy commercial ad.
Oh man.
Like, you know,
You gonna
like
do that to
one of
my
those
voice
like
before Death
power
Cab?
ballad CDs. You know what I mean?
The Night Out on Earth tour featuring Waterparks. Hey, tell me what you want me to say. Coming all the way across America to you, unless you live in Maine, because we've never been there. Pick up tickets today at www.waterparksband.com. See you there. Fuck man. Be paranoid too.
Wow, and outro music too. All right, that's all she wrote. Amazing.